Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's Ben, and today hopefully we're going to be doing, if the weather looks okay, so far it's okay to a low level cloud, but we're going to be continuing my UK around the outside tour. The next leg is from Bournemouth to Shoreham, which is close to my hometown, Shoreham. So I've flown real world as well, so it's going to be nice to go back into there in the sim. Flight time's very short today. It's around about half an hour. There's a little bit of cloud over Bournemouth in the sim at the minute. It's pretty high level, so we can dot around 2,500 to 3,000 feet, and then it seems to be breaking up as we go along the coast. Over Southampton, over Calshot, we'll have the Isle of Wight on our right. Again, it shouldn't take that long to get there. Difference today is I've spruced up a little bit with the aircraft. I've come into the Cirrus SR22T provided from Microsoft in their Premium Deluxe version, I believe it was. I spoke about it in my last random video I did in the Honda Jet, which was really good. So breaking this out in the GA space just to try it out, I really enjoyed flying this. I've only really just started using it, so yeah, hopefully we'll get up there and go along the coast and try and make it before any weather really gets bad in the sim. So let's crack on. Let's have a quick look at the routes. So start off down here in Bournemouth. Again, I'm not doing any air traffic control at the minute, just to make it a little bit easier, more to get used to get the sim back up and running properly in my planes. But take off from Bournemouth, head east. And we're just going to hug the coast pretty much. I've got some waypoints on Sky Demon, as you can see, just from my own reference points. Again, it's nice to have it just to kind of follow a route instead of a straight line, but I've tried to keep to the coast as much as possible. We kind of come over Leon Solent, Portsmouth, or Pompey, as I call it around here. Go down to maybe East Wittering and Selsey, hug around Selsey, again all the way up the coast, over Bognor, Littlehampton, and then we'll start making our approach into Shoreham here. Usually we'll come out to the water here and just make a nice direct in approach. We'll see how we go. Again, there's a lot of air restrictions around it, but we're not gonna worry about them too much today. So again, it's more about the flying, just to get used to it. So yeah, that's the route. Hopefully shouldn't take too long, just to get the grips with the Cirrus again. And let's go in and find out how we go. So let's jump in. If anyone's used this or is using it as a jet, it's a wonderful little aircraft in here. They've modelled it very well. I haven't got the realism mod on from FlightSim.to at the minute, but I will eventually get it. I went and bought the sound packs off ORBX, which everyone recommended, and they are 100% fantastic. It really brings out the aircraft as well. Mainly when you're spooling up and down, you can hear the engine a bit more revving, which is good. Whereas before it was quite subpar and you couldn't really hear anything. So I've already put the fuel in. I've got about 120 split between both tanks. So every 10-15 minutes we'll split them over. But again, for such a short flight, we shouldn't need too much. So let's crack on. So there is a checklist built into this, which is really good. Obviously you can't get to it in a minute, so we'll turn on the battery. Battery 2 first. Again, I've not got an outside checklist here, so we'll let everything spool up. Let's bring this up, and we do get our checklist straight away on the first window. So let's try and go through these. Some of these, again, I've not really looked too much in depth with them. I'm skimming through them to try and get used to them. Every time I use it, I'm seem to be getting a little bit better. So pre-flight inspection outside, we had a quick look. It is a sim. They've modelled it really well. I do like it. There's a couple of liveries with this, and I said Flight Sim TO, the modding community has already been all over this, been doing some nice ones as well. So got the default on at the minute. So outside's good. Weight balance is done with the fuel. Emergency equipment on board. Passengers are briefed, just me, and in the weight and balance, I do have someone in the right hand seat to keep the wings nice and level. And all the harnesses, seat belts, and all good. So next, so we've got normal start procedures. So external power, if applicable, is connected. Brakes are held at the minute. Battery master switches are on, and we've got check volts. So turn the other battery switch on here. We do get this kick up a little bit on the park and brake set, which is good, but you can get rid of these advisories here. We can turn on open up the engine page, which is good, and we've got these electrical currents here, so everything is at the minute off because we haven't got the buses on, no engine start, so these hopefully should kick in when we come through. So strobe lights we put on, strobes are there, and the mixture at the minute is full rich. So down here I've got this hooked up to my equipment, full rich all the way forward. Now I've watched a few other YouTubers do this as well. Power lever is full forward as well to bring it up. I think that's just to prime the engine a little bit, I'm not too sure, and then bring it back and hover just 1/4 of an inch open. Fuel pump boost, put that forward, get some fuel going, clear in the propeller area, 1/4 of an inch already there, and we basically start the engine. So just make sure the brakes are set down here. 1, 2 and 3, off we go. Here we go. Started up, which is really good. So, mixture, we lean until the RPM rises to a maximum and leave the mixture. So there is, I'm trying to get my head around this, but if we go into the engine page here, there's a little button that's called assist. I think we can start to lean the engine a little bit, and it gives us a little bit of a hint when it's at its good lean. So I think we may have to do this in the air a bit. Bring that forward a little bit. I had a little bit of a problem where I had to turn off, I had the auto mixture on in the settings in the sim, which kind of messed everything up. So that looks good there. Back into the checklist. Power lever all the way back. Maintain 1000, so it's just 1/4 of an inch there, which is here. Ooh, it's very sensitive, which is good. Oil pressure is rising. We have here, so in the green, when it starts to heat up, this will start to get nice and warm as well, which is good. Switches on for the power. Avionics power switch on. Get some power to the avionics. Engine parameters monitor, so everything looks in the green at the minute, which is good. T's and P's. External power, that turns itself off, and the amp meter indication. So hopefully we come back in here, there we go. So we've got the electrical systems is now provided into the aircraft from the engine, and everything's in the green. Okay, on to the next one. So before taxiing, flaps are up, which down here we are up here. Radios and avionics, not too worried about them, it's all VFR today. Cabin heat and defrost, it's warm out there. Don't look too good over there, does it, with the rain, but we'll see how we go. And the fuel selector, switch tank. So the fuel itself, might be able to see it better from the engine. Here, we're pretty level. Left is a little bit lower than the right, so we just switch to the right for now. Flip that one over. Back to the checklist. And taxi in. So I quite like these little, this is based on the real world as well, it gives you some little heads ups and reminders about the aircraft in general. Always good to go over them. So park and brake we take off, and we check the brakes, the HSI, the gyros and the turn coordinator. So basically we're checking if everything up here is moving and corresponding with everything moving down here, and we can turn left and right and the brakes work. So if we get going, today we're going from the way the wind is coming, it's a 12 knot headwind, 2 knot crosswind. Runway 26 is the better. So we can, where are we? We're over the west side of the airfield, so we're going to go to the east side, taxi all the way around and take off from 26. So let's get going there. A little bit of power, bring it around. Test the brakes. Brakes are good. Left and right's good. And while we're moving, the gyro at the top there and the DI is moving. Directional indicator, so we know everything's lining up. So I'm going to go around this taxiway. I'm very lucky when I was very young. My first ever real world flight was in the Diamond DA40. Was from Bournemouth actually. Really nice little airfield to fly from. Good fun. A lot of commercial down there now. A little bit. So runway's in front of us here, and what we'll do, we'll just backtrack down it to our left. There's no traffic on in the sim, which is good. Let's do an outside view for you there. We'll come round, and we'll just go all the way down to the end. Okay, so what we're doing that, let's just turn these up so I can see, everyone can see. So we've checked the parking brake, the brakes are good, HSI and the gyros and turn coordinate is all nice. So get down the end and do the before takeoff checks. So what we'll do, we'll take off and come around to the left and have the coast, and then we'll go from there. Should be nice and simple. Right, let's turn her around. Okay, again, because we're not got anything in the sim, we'll just do our run-ups and checks here. So we'll stop on the runway. Shouldn't do it here, but we will. Parking brake set. So back onto the checklists. Okay, doors good. Caps handle. Caps is up here. It's not modelled in here. Really quite a nice feature on the real world aircraft. If it decides to keel over, nice little parachute can come out there. Seat belts are good. Air conditioner is desired. Turn it up a little bit. Keep it cool because it's warm. Okay, so fuel quantity is confirmed. It did that before we got on. Fuel selector is on the full tank. We keep it on the right for takeoff. Fuel pump is in boost already, which is there. Mixture we put full rich. Push this all the way forward for takeoff. We'll set some flaps. Just one stage of flaps for the takeoff. Transponder is set. We've got it over here. Again, we're not really using it, but we can turn it on and keep it in VFR mode if we need to for now. If we're doing it on VATSIM or something. Autopilot. I'm not going to use it in a minute. Maybe when we get up in the air, but we can set it here. So if we just come down a bit, set our altitude. We're going to go up to, I think our cruise I had around about 4.5. So we'll go to there, so we'll put that in there, and we'll just push the heading bug to line that up in the centre for us, so we're good. So when we need it, we'll use it and turn it on. Navigation, radios, GPS is all good. Cabin heat we've done. Brakes, we're on the brakes at the minute. We're going to bring the RPM up, 1700. Start the run-ups. Okay. So we can check the alternator, so we can turn this one on and off. I think you can see the drop ever so slightly, make sure nothing goes off, and we can do the mag checks here as well. So if we go left, slight decrease, no more than about 50, and back, and then on the right, same, back to the start. Pitot heat is already on. I've put that one on. No, I haven't. Pitot heat is on. Navigation lights on. I've already got them on there. Landing lights on because I'm going to take off. We've got no ice. Check there's a parking brake warning. Announce Alt 1 and Alt 2 lights out positive amps. Okay, so we've checked that. If we go back into the engine page, the volts and amps are looking good and in the green. With the voltage. Pitot heat is done. Navigation lights are good. Landing lights are good, and we've checked the mags. done the ignition checks. Back to 1000, bring it back, and idle it back for takeoff. Flight instruments H9 altimeter, so we just push the sneaky beat, so we're on lined up. So it's 2988 here. Flight controls are free and correct. Just have a quick look outside. We'll move it around. Trim is set for takeoff. The trim is here, so if I just slightly bring this to the right, and we trim back to the takeoff position for our trim. And no icing conditions, so we can go all through these. Okay, so we'll take the brakes off, power lever full forward, check the T's and P's in the green, pull back around about roughly 90 knots, and pull 80 knots to take off, and then about 90 knots for the flaps to come up. So that's what we'll do. So we should be good to go. Parking brake off, hold the brakes, bring everything up, around about 50% and hold. Brakes off and full throttle. Here we go. $60 knots and 80 knots, and up we come. We've hit 90, not too high, so we'll bring the flaps up. And we'll just trim for that climb ever so slightly. Take it up to about 1,000 feet, and I'll probably put on the autopilot. Fuel damper is automatically engaged. It is a little bit windy, so see how we go. Alright, we're going to hang a left now because we're past the threshold and past the airport, so we're going to come round over the town of Portsmouth and head for the coast and then hug that coast. There's Bournemouth off our wing, so we'll just come parallel. We'll go for 2.5 and we'll try and level off at 2.5 there. Bit of cloud here, so there we go, so we'll try and level off there. Trim that down. Come down a little bit. So we'll whack the autopilot on now, so what we'll do, we'll go into heading mode, synchronise the bug, turn the autopilot on, and then we'll go around about, where are we? 26. Let's go for 3. Vertical speed. We'll go up about 3,000 feet. Try and break through this IMC ever so lightly. Right, we're coming up to the 3,000 mark there, so we'll do the cruise climb. So our peak technique, so this is the mixture, which is pretty good. So power lever reduce, so it hits in this little green arc here for its peak. Lean to your target. So again, if we bring up this engine, hopefully, I don't know if it's going to work again because of my settings. It doesn't look like it at the minute. Oh, there we go. We've got peak now, so we can bring it back as best as we can to lean the aircraft. There we go. Check this. Okay, we're hovering around about 130, which is what we want. Fuel pump is on boost. Oxygen, not much to worry, that's already on. and everything is monitored T's and P's now, so this is not looking good for the weather, so I may need to come down. Let's go on the coast a bit more. For Lymington, I'm going to bring it down. I think I come down to 2,000 feet. Global speed, and we'll come down a bit. Break through again. What's real world and what's in the sim? Two very different things by the looks of it. Okay, just off to the left is the town of Bewley. Been there a few minutes myself. And coming up here should be the Leon Solent airfield, just over here, so we can see that in the distance. Calshot Beach. Just going to fly straight over the top of that one. Looks like we are just about on the minimums of the cloud, so we are pretty much underneath everything. Again, we'll try and hug the coast as best as we can. A bit more to see. So we'll get to Leon Solent, Gosport, head over the top of Portsmouth. And this is what we're seeing here is Southampton. This is the Solent all the way up where the Red Funnel ferries come out. So we've got Holbury and Dibden just over here. The main Southampton airport is just off to our left over in the distance there. If only it was better weather. A couple of tanker ships coming out of Southampton with the docks. That's where they all reside. I'm getting buffeted about up here. And there's a cruise ship. We always like to see a cruise ship around Southampton. That's where they dock. Okay, Portsmouth and Gosport coming up to over here. Again, the route took us over Gosport. I think should be able to see the Spinnaker Tower from Portsmouth soon in view. And here we have Leon Solent airfield just in front of us here. One place I've never been to in the real world. It's been a nice little airfield. I don't know if it's still active, if anyone knows. I believe it is. I believe it is. Okay, we'll just flip the tanks now because we've been in the air about 10-15 minutes. So boost the pump and flip her over and turn the fuel pump off again. Keep the balance in the middle as we can see here. It's rather left now. Just have a quick look at the engine. We're at peak on the mixture. That did work in the end with the assist here. The assist is really good. It gets you the best efficiency out of leaning the engine. So it did kick in the end when we were over a certain speed, which is good. Okay, we're going to come around to the right now a little bit. The Spinnaker Tower should be just off our right. I don't know if it got modelled in the sim. I'm pretty certain it does. There we go, right in front of us, just here. Spinnaker Tower in Portsmouth. Never been up it myself, but been around it a few times. head over there, we'll go over the tower, down to Selsey. Thought the cloud has lifted, which is nice around here, so looks like it was just very low level over Bournemouth. I think that's quite common in the real world as well. Again, if we have more time, maybe on the next leg, because the next leg hugs the around the UK, so maybe have a bit more look over the plane when we get that time. But for now, we'll just get to shore. And there we go. There's the tower. Come into view. And the HMS Victory down the bottom there, used as a turning point for the I think it's the Great South runs when they do them down there. There she is in her glory. Okay, so directly in front of us here is Selsey. Wonderful place. Know someone who lives there, one of our friends. Been there a few times. And then we'll get to Selsey and we'll hug the coast around and come all the way up to Bognor Regis, Littlehampton, and then make our approach into Shoreham. Shoreham, it looks pretty low wind there, so we should get a bit of a choice of the runway. I think if I look at the maps, what do we have? Runway 20, but we can see. Okay, yeah, so Selsey's just off the front there. Comes around here. Nice beaches and lovely walks. Okay, so we're coming up to Shoreham now. I think we're going to come into 02. So we should be able to come out over the water. Pretty easy approach into Shoreham. So let's do the checklist. Descent checklist. Oxygen's fine. Altimeters we're set. Cabin heat's fine. Landing lights are on. We have to take them off. Check the fuel. We'll move over to the left tank for balance. So boost over, switch, and fuel pump off for now. I'll go back on in a second. Power level we start to bring down, and mixture will start to bring up, and brake pressure's fine. So let's start to slowly spool back a little bit, start to come down the approach. We'll come out a little bit to the right here, out of the water, and we'll come down to about 1800. We'll go for 16, slow descent coming down as we start to do that. So Shoreham's just off to our left over here. power back. Okay, I think we'll take the autopilot off now and do this manually. A bit more fun. Trim is very sensitive at this. I might have to adjust that. There we go. 500, trim for 500 feet per minute for now. Just wants to move all the time. Slowly start to come round. Okay. Sure, I'm just off to the left there. I want to avoid this cloud just to the right. Second stage of flapping. Yeah, very shaky, but we're down. Still can't quite control the speed on this one. really difficult to get down unless you're really far out. And then we get the shakes. So I may try that realism mod. So we'll come to the end, flaps up, we'll come off here. And I'll follow it all the way around. Welcome to Shoreham. Next leg complete. Scenery is a little bit off here. I've got lights halfway up the floor. Okay, so icing conditions. Talks about ice in this. So this is my home airfield where I've done a couple of real world flights for my PPL. Really lovely place, great cafe, really nice cafe actually. So we'll bring it around here and just onto the apron, that's where we usually tend to go. It's Northbrook College there, one of the flight schools. Got quite a few flight schools around here. Bring it around here, shall we? Now we'll be able to hold just there. Okay, park and brake set. So this is the last shutdown. So pitot heat pump switch off. So off, and our pitot heat off. Landing lights off. Strobe and nav. Leave them on just for a second. And then we've got fuel pump is off, we've done idle there, the throttle, ignition switch is off, we'll pull back the mixture, turn everything off, turn the ignition switch off, mags off, the ELT is lights out, and we put the chocks and tie down, so we'll turn off the main battery. So 1, 2, 3, 4, there we go. And there we are in Shoreham. Again, the approach was a little bit skiffy. I was trying to avoid those clouds out at sea, which they do build up quite a bit. So I probably could have come in a little bit lower. It's all learning. It's all part of the fun. Again, I think next time I really do like this Cirrus because it's good fun with the autopilot and the the built-in systems. But I think it's worth putting that realism mod on just to see what the difference is. I mean, even landing then, I was all over the place. It felt like the aircraft was getting buffeted quite a bit, and so hopefully that mod will be good. So the next leg again, we'll do that. It'll be all the way around the outside this time, so we've got a little bit more time in the air, probably about 45 to 50 minutes. So hopefully join me for the next one, and I'll see you then. Cheers, bye.
Dead or alive, you are coming with me.